Hello friends, it's Regan here. Haven't made a video in a little while, but nonetheless, I'm really excited to just dig into what I want to talk about right now in this video. We are the pioneers of a post-political world, and we seek to accomplish the freeing of humanity from the bounds of violent, psychopathic, elitist dominion, and into a decentralized paradigm of different yet interconnected communities, and through this achieving a world of prosperity and peace, and onto the next part of our human evolution. And as you know, it is vital that we can begin to evolve the one element of physical humanity that has not evolved in centuries: governance. And it will involve intelligence and creativity and compassion, as far as at least understanding and respecting your fellow race as yourself. And in being the pioneers of this, we must continue to develop our ideas effectively, which also means we need to be aware of our weaknesses and be honest as individuals and as people collectively in this movement, and then work towards debugging these weaknesses. And it is without a doubt that the infighting within just our own community is one of, if not the biggest weaknesses that we have, and that we really should debug. And I have an idea that I really think can help shed light upon this to help it, while also opening up a new perspective and how this perspective can be applied in the real world towards practical solutions towards the decentralization of power. So that being said, what is an Exitarian? To be an Exitarian is to exit from politics and the shallow surface of human structure that it represents entirely. Many anarchists scorn the statists that distract themselves arguing over politics and presidents and parties, etc., yet, likely out of an unconscious habit, follow in their exact footsteps and argue over what I want to call anarchist politics. And I'm not talking about friendly debates and arguments that seek new ideas and conclusions, because that's different, that is productive, and that has value. But I'm talking about the strangely aggressive, oh, you don't agree with me, you're not a real anarchist arguments, and just all of this infighting that really does plague the movement and definitely deters people away from it. And sometimes it makes me feel like these are just people that are living out their own suppressed memories with authority, and they're not even actually trying to find real solutions. Because we consciously know that one grand universal system of governance would never work. It just could never work, and it shouldn't. The world is a vast array of different kinds of individuals, different people, different ideas, different cultures, different geographies, etc. Even within our own sphere of personal theory, we find people with many differences in how they think such systems should operate. And again, there isn't just one objective, correct idea in this matter. Yet some people must feel so emotionally defensive over their ideas and unconsciously fight just the same as the statists that they mock. So it's time for real intelligent solutions and to move on from this, because it's counterproductive, it's unnecessary, and it's truly a distraction from what we're actually trying to accomplish here. And aside from being a distraction, it's also one of the first aspects that the feds are going to try to milk to infiltrate the movement. This movement has been a joke to them for a long time, but now is the time when it's really beginning to grow and it's really beginning to spread. And I have a deep intuition that soon approaches a time when it really is noticeably affecting their power. And that is when we're really going to have to be vigilant of the tactics that they pull to infiltrate. And history shows us that they will target us using the infighting card. So we really can't succumb to these weak mental tendencies anymore. We really should try to transcend this notion of anarchist politics. So being consistent with our idea of trying to exit status politics and creating this efficient post-political world, We should be practical and remember that our favorite kind of economic structure, our specific flavor of anarchy, is not the only kind, nor should it be. And to get a little meta with our love of the free market, it isn't even what the free market represents. In a true free market, emphasize on the free of the post-political world, there will be countless kinds of interconnected system of governances working together. For there's no one correct end-all governance that ought to be imposed on the whole globe. And as anarchists, we should really recognize this, it being one of the foundations of anarchy, rather than just unleash these internal emotional demons on any being who dares to disagree with our subjective truth. And an example, even for people outside of this ideological bubble, I personally resonate with agorism and anarcho-capitalism. I'm very individualist by nature, and naturally I hate the system of communism and socialism with every fiber of my being. Not even dead in hell would you catch me voluntarily living in such a system. Yet, some people are really into that. And who am I to tell them that they can't practice and experiment these policies just because I don't personally resonate with them? Because it's not wrong. As long as I'm not involved in their commune in any way, and no person involuntarily is, it doesn't bother me. And the main issue of communism has always been that it's inflicted by force on people like me who don't want it. But maybe in a community where all the individuals want to live under such a system, maybe it could work for them. Maybe with the power of voluntary interaction, we could actually see a model of communism exist successfully. Or maybe not, maybe never. Maybe it truly is impossible for such a thing to exist. And maybe that after these experiments, that's when communism can finally die. In a free market of governance, just like any other market, there are going to be successful and unsuccessful models. And this is helpful. In the long run, these models of governance will serve to teach us the benefits and the weaknesses of certain policies. And as a free market, it will also work as a feedback mechanism through the profit and loss, so that the systems of governance that do serve the individuals and the communities the best will thrive, and they will grow, and they will spread their ideas, while the ones that are bad and wasteful or unpeaceful will fail, and they'll fall, and we will learn from this as well. Through practicing this and studying it, we can really begin to understand the science of living together and the art of community, these systems of governance. So to be an Exitarian is to understand and appreciate this, that different economic systems can and will exist. It is a solution because it doesn't ask you to compromise your own personal ideas and beliefs at all, while intelligently accepting that they can coexist just fine among others, and respect that there cannot be a universal theory. And as long as the system of governance is voluntary, there really shouldn't be. It sounds really strange for there to be just one grand idea, at least any time in the near future. And furthermore, in the nature of a market, when different economical ideas get implemented, it serves as a true model and an experiment for what exactly a good and bad governance is through its profit and loss, like in entrepreneurship. And it serves us the knowledge that we really need to experiment with to fully understand. So when you're an Exitarian, the arguing of ideas in anarchist politics holds a lot less practical value, because the real value is in creating and building and working and actualizing physical effects of your idea in this world to create a model. It's the essence of being the change you wish to see in the world. And when individuals can live out and produce these results, that is when this market of governance is going to begin to really open up, which ultimately will allow for existing nation states to see competition and likely be outcompeted with to their own demise unless they choose to adapt wisely, because they're very violent and inefficient and unpopular and old-fashioned right now. So for our theories, again, to have any real meaning and to be launched into actual reality, it involves the practice of them. Because again, the proof is in the pudding. It's not just in arguing thoughts, but actually building models of them. And now I want to talk a little bit more just about the real-world application of this new paradigm of governance and everything I'm talking about, because it really does have a place in reality already. The groundwork is already being laid down for it. And one mechanism through which we can create this market of governance, it's honestly like a large scale of agorism, is startup societies. So special economic zones, private cities, seasteads, eco-villages, green cities, micronations. These are real models of new kinds of governances, and they exist all over the world. There's thousands of them. I'm not sure the exact number. And there are some really amazing organizations that are beginning to implement and study and experiment with these different types of governances, which I will link to below for further research and reference, because I really admire them. I think they're building something unparalleled in this world. And then another mechanism is the agorist strategies that we talk about so frequently on this channel. As an agorist, even if you can't quite start or join some official startup society, that doesn't mean that you can't begin effectively organizing and embodying these practices within your own community. And essentially, building your own community to be stronger and more efficient and more independent and more connected is almost the exact same concept. And down the road, when we continue to decentralize and evaporate this illegitimate authority that is the state, if you are working hard, you're already laying down the groundwork for what one day could be a startup society in your community. And simultaneously, you're being a model for the change you want to see, which people do pick up on consciously and unconsciously. And you're also studying the art of learning how to organize community. So the essence of this message is just to explain the meaning of exiting politics, not just statist politics, but anarchist politics as well. And to respect other views in a way that doesn't have to distract you or compromise your own vision and your own work at all. And it can even help you to your advantage to collaborate with people with similar ends, even if the means are different. And while existing states are obviously barriers, and they always have been, when this process truly begins to take hold, they're going to be made to adapt or completely collapse on themselves through the competition of intelligent and innovation of humanity. And even though it's very few people who consciously care about their civil liberties right now, which is again another result of the state and its delusion and propaganda, no less, when they can see not only the epic freedom that can exist through these ideas, but the efficient and prosperous lifestyles that will be achieved through this, that's when we will really start to see the shift away from the current system of government, because the masses are always going to follow, and we can actually work towards this new paradigm where governance is essentially something you can shop around for, finding the product that best fits you and your lifestyle, and you don't have to. If you can't find one, you can really create your own if you're willing to work hard to create your own governance. So this is how we can actualize the framework for the decentralization of power to create different, interconnected communities that can begin to help us learn the science of living together. And that, my friends, is how I, at least, truly envision a decentralized, anarchist, interconnected, peer-to-peer, voluntary humanity developing. Thank you for listening.